As with the standard, there are a multitude of power-ups that will help you out as you progress. We have the basics, the mushroom, fire flower, tanuki suit, star, and 1-up, with the inclusion of the boomerang flower, mega mushroom, cannon box, and propeller box. Alongside the game's main new power-ups, the double cherry, which gives you an extra clone to control, and the super bell. This gives the character the ability to climb walls, dive down on opponents, and look f***ing stupid.
Hey there, I'm Brandon, and I just learned a valuable lesson today. Never take any chances, it'll only lead to pain and sorrow. Also,
the Virtuality first launched for arcades and was met with confusion, leading it to perform poorly as the concept of VR was very alien at the time, and because of that, many people had no idea what was going on or how to even play this virtual world. To make matters worse, it was $5 for 5 minutes of play, which led to many being unable to figure out what was even going on before the 5 minutes were over. And in the end, the Virtuality would end up going mostly unused because who the fuck would pay 5 bones just to do this in public? But that being said, it's not an excuse to produce a shitty game that people will be spending their hard-earned money on. Sega may not be the biggest company, but they are definitely still up there, so quality I feel should be expected, and critiques are necessary for learning how to improve. I would know.
oh hey there, I'm Brandon.
Damn, you're ugly.
Yeah, I'm still working on that.
However, this is not all that's offered with the game. On the title screen, there's an extra mode called minigames, and by god, these are great. Essentially, all it is a collection of small minigames that include, but are not limited to, theft, abuse, illegal stunts, gambling, criminals, decapitation, bombing, bullshit, and just being a dick. And what's even better is you can play all these minigames with friends in multiplayer. It's very easy too, all you gotta do is find someone else with a DS.
What are you, out of your f***ing mind?
The only real option for making a profit is from your guests. See, everything that is built in your park has a fee that needs to be paid before it can be used. Roller coasters, food stands, the f***ing bathroom, crank up the price for all that shit for maximum legal theft. However, don't get too cocky with your prices, because for as much crap as I gave the guests, they're still smart enough to not buy anything they deem too expensive. Sometimes. And honestly, the way they determine a reasonable price seems to be random, at least in my experience. They won't pay more than 50 cents to ride one of my best roller coasters, but I've no problem dishing out 20 bucks for an umbrella. So just start with reasonable prices, because if you mess up, your balance will be in the negatives with no real way to turn things around because you decide to make your bathroom fee $35, you fucking monster. Well, if there's one thing to arouse the American in me, it's Tecmo Bowl, or as humans call it, football. A title for the Nintendo Entertainment System released back in 1989 and developed by the company Tecmo. Catchy. Alright, let's just go with single player, because God knows I can't play with friends. They'll just make fun of my inability to score a hole in one. Also, I don't have friends. But I guess I should explain the similarities between Mario Land and the original Super Mario Bros. On the NES. See, you take control of this and need to traverse through multiple worlds, each containing a number of levels with their own unique obstacles to get through, as well as a final castle plus boss at the end. In each world, once completing a boss, you'll have some sort of psych-out bullshit cutscene making you think you actually saved the princess, when in reality, oh, just kidding, it's a toad, or oh, just kidding, it's a bug, or oh, just kidding, Lego Movie the video game for Wii U isn't actually that great.
I just couldn't keep lying to myself.
So after multiple years of bad choices, straight up ignorance, and people pretty much just giving up on the series, we eventually got a change in 2018 when Nintendo announced a new entry for their most recent platform, the Nintendo Switch. And while still developed by ND Cube, this time it promised to be a return to the classic Mario Party formula that we've all grown to love since the N64 days. Finally, classic styled boards, regular stars, items other than dice blocks, and that stupid fucking car is gone? God is real and I can start stripping people of their happiness the way he intended, without 3 other people breathing down my neck.
Well hey, it's Brandon. Have I lost respect yet? How about now?
But soon after, we got Sonic 3D Blast, or Sonic 3D Flicky's Island if you live in Japan or Europe and hate semi-decent titling. The game was released on November 7th, 1996, which was pretty late into the Genesis's lifespan, and programmed by a British studio called Traveller's Tales. Yeah, Sega didn't exactly make this game all by themselves. They requested aid from those assholes in the UK because everyone else was too busy working on another title called Nights into Dreams for their newest console at the time, the Sega Saturn. However, before anybody and myself go blaming Traveler's Tales for whatever I may or may not experience, it's also important to note that Sega was the one who gave them the basic concept, meaning all that Traveler's Tales had to do was program it and maybe make a few executive decisions in areas that lack guidance. So in light of this, I'm holding both companies accountable if I don't make it through this in a sane, sound mind state. How exactly people make these kinds of mods, I have some sort of an idea, but nothing I feel too confident saying out loud lest I be corrected. Although one thing I am very sure about is that 99% of the time you'll need a computer to install them no matter what system you're playing the game on. And back about 6 years ago with my low-powered laptop that actively craved the release of death was when I first discovered this kind of logic abuse. Shit fascinated the hell out of me. You mean I could make this look like this at the price of viruses on my computer? Hell yeah, come on in. That all being said, just note whenever I do bash anything talked about here, it's less hate and more of me seeing the potential this character has, and Namco kinda under-delivering in some/a lot of areas. As the lineup in general stands, it's a fine... yeah, that's neutral enough. It's a fine collection. That being said, however, shoddy gameplay isn't the biggest problem this franchise is facing right now. No, that goes to the fact that every game mentioned has been released no later than 2005. And if we check the calendar, yep, that's an issue. And now, join us as Brandon sums up what is to be the next 12 minutes of discussion into a single word. I personally didn't find Oil Desert Zone that fun to play through. It's another home to many of the problems I have with a lot of these stages from both episodes 1 and 2, where I'm constantly put to a halt by some gimmick or enemy, especially these fuckers with the rolling bombs. I have to stand there and wait before I can actually kill them. There's also this long section that requires tails, and it's just a glass half empty of I don't give a piss. As a heads up, I quite literally just finished the original game before immediately playing this one, so any and all differences are going to be 10 times more noticeable to me. And I think I just noticed the difference. First of all, having 360 movement here is like God coming down from heaven to agree with your political views. It feels great.
So, tell me, what has been bothering you? Well, recently I've been having this weird thing where I get bored playing video games, like all my motivation has been disappearing lately. I see. Well, what do you usually play? You know, Mario. Is that all? Maybe Sonic? Anything that's not a platformer? Pac-Man? Okay, I think I see the problem. Here, get some variety in your life. Thanks. Although, have you ever considered your lack of motivation to be not because of the video games you play, but rather the fact that you haven't spoken to anyone other than yourself in years? No? Good morning and welcome to Channel B News, the only news center that hasn't commissioned an original intro animation yet. I'm your host, Tomboski Quantavius, and in tonight's top story that has been shattering the globe recently, physical games or digital games? Which one is better? We now bring in local virgin and video game enthusiast BrandonBound to give their opinion and reasoning as to why they believe what they do. Brandon, you are live. Please give us your brief, quick, non-10-minute statement on the matter without hijacking our broadcast. Hey, what are you doing?
Video games. You either own them or you own them, and either way people are going to give you shit for it. The Game Boy, the good old-fashioned handheld system that was also Nintendo's first portable video gaming device. Exerting inequality, that is. This used to be the shiz back in the 90s, the tiny screen having rectangle-shaped cinder block of fun that can even fit in your pants so you can be bricked up on the go. 1P or 2P?
1. So
once choosing the main Mario Kart game, otherwise known as Mario Kart GP, we get to select how fast we want the karts to go between 50cc and 100cc. Don't ask me what CC is, I don't know. It's standard Mario Kart procedure at this point. Everyone who is anyone with thumbs that work understands this part of the game. Though for now, I'm just gonna go with 50cc as the confidence in my abilities doesn't range any farther than I can throw. Which isn't far. Nintendo Direct, the source of all upcoming Nintendo game announcements. This is something the company does about twice a year. We had one last February, and that one had Pikmin. But on June 21st, we got our second Nintendo Direct, which was also the day Nintendo just said,
Hello, Nintendo fans. I hope you're ready to hear some exciting announcements for all our unique and diverse franchises.
Introducing the Virtuality, a virtual reality device doubling as an arcade machine that, shocker, would play VR games. Now, ultimately, I'm sure that sounds somewhat confusing. Virtual reality in the 90s? How about you put down what you've been smoking, cause it's clearly laced. But no, I speak the truth, and I have the evidence right here. Okay, the evidence may need an explanation. Why do I like Nintendo? These are the questions. I guess it could all be traced back to my childhood. Christmas of 2006, I think? The day where my mother gifted my sister a DS alongside a copy of New Super Mario Bros., of which I immediately made a habit of stealing to play for myself. From there, it was kinda a snowball effect. Eventually, I got my own DS after enough begging, replayed New Super Mario Bros. Until my fingers went numb, used PictoChat a lot, I remember that very vividly. As a child, I guess the concept of writing a message and someone else sing it on their own DS blew my mind. Later, I branched out with other titles like Kirby Superstar Ultra and Namco Museum, saw my cousin playing Super Mario 64 DS one day, and witnessing Mario in 3D for the first time also blew my mind. The bar's usually low when you're young.
Welcome to the wondrous world of Amiibo Tech, a collection of 30 popular retro games by Nintendo that you most definitely already own, using state-of-the-art near-field communication with an extra $30 of plastic and paint stuck onto it. You can play these tireless entries in Nintendo's vast catalog. Whoa! Now I know what you're thinking. Wow, I already have a few Amiibo. Does that mean I get full access to some of these classic titles for free? Not a damn one, you stupid prick. Here at Nintendo, we'd rather do a keg stand with Vertigo than give you anything for free. Fuck it, we'll do it regardless. It's how we came up with the idea of splitting these already rudimentary games into spaced out segments with a 3-minute timer for each one. Holy wow! That's right, if you enjoyed Masterpieces mode from Brawl, then this is the title for you.
Pop quiz! When did Sonic the Hedgehog first appear on a Nintendo console? Yeah, I bet you weren't expecting to be tested this early on. Also, I must add a disclaimer that this is a trick question. Got your answer? Good. Now, if you said Secret of Mana for the SNES in the form of a tiny enemy named Pebbler, then I'd say, what? But I'd also say you're wrong, because the real answer was the game Speedy Gonzales Los Gatos Bandidos for the Super Nintendo. You might also be thinking to yourself, but Brandon, Sonic the Hedgehog doesn't appear in that game at all. To which I reply, in spirit he does. So we've discussed the worlds, now let's talk about the levels in them, and this may come as a shock to no one, but they're good. Anyways, after all that, the next zone is Casino Street Zone, with all casino and no street. All I can say about this one is it's a ripoff of Casino Night Zone from Sonic 2. I got stuck on this part with the cannons and bumpers for about 30 minutes, and these flipping carts can suck my ass.
That's right, baby. I'm going to be talking about what I think a good Sonic game should be like, and I'm sure with my knowledge and understanding of game design, it'd probably be fine.
However, while the 1000 series as a whole did have its fair share of games made for the console, such as titles like Dactyl Nightmare, Total Destruction, Grid Busters, Flying Aces, and many others, unfortunately not a single one on this entire list was our aforementioned Pac-Man VR. Then Brandon, why even mention it? Because, idiot, in 1994 they made an upgraded model. Wait, that doesn't answer the question. In 1994, they made an upgraded model, and it had Pac-Man VR. New Super Mario Bros. Absolutely tops that completely with its versus mode. Basically, it's a competition between two players as they fight to collect the most stars in a stage while also trying to fuck over the other opponent. Damaging other players will cause them to lose a star, and there's plenty of ways to go about that. Jump on them, use power-ups against them, you're pretty much using all the game's abilities to your advantage, and my god, it is fun. It's also very simple to get started. All you gotta do is find someone with a DS. Hey there, I'm here to give you a message from Hasbro Entertainment. Are you looking for a way to make some money? Tired of begging on the streets? Good at making decisions that'll affect the safety of people's lives? No? That's also okay. Come on down to Forest Frontiers, where you can run and manage your own amusement park. All we'll need from you is your social, earlobe pics, and proof of virginity. Disclaimer, Hasbro Entertainment is not responsible for any injuries, death, natural and unnatural disasters, mental scars, and or loss of V-card. Only apply if you're a massive
Hey there, I'm Brandon, and I just got a job.
Well, this is repetitive as hell. The entire game for me was just choose formation, run a bit, get tackled, other team gets a touchdown, cry, do it all again. So the beginning of the leap itself is pretty fine, a little floaty, which can take some getting used to, but not too horrible. However, God help you once that part is over, cause when what this game considers gravity takes effect, much like walking, the descent is also immediate. In other words, you're gonna fall. Really fast. To put it in perspective, it's kinda similar to how in the original Donkey Kong arcade game, moving off a girder forces you to plummet straight into the ground and die. But like, there's an 8-year gap between these two titles, so I wonder if Brandon's going to be a little forgiving. Yep, the Wii U era, from 2013 to 2016. If you were a fan of Mario, Zelda, or Pokemon, you knew not the meaning of this word. You all know the situation by now. Poor choices were made at Nintendo headquarters, causing this very console to underperform immensely in terms of sales, labeling itself as one of the worst of all time, despite the thing not even being that bad from a functional standpoint. Well, most of the time. My Wii U did break not too long ago, by which I mean the gamepad just won't turn on anymore no matter what I try. The base console itself still works perfectly fine, however, making it just a higher definition Wii. The worst part is, now I have to buy a second Wii U. Can't wait to explain that to God. Title screen itself doesn't look half bad, however, it actually gives off a bit of competence. Oh, look at that, they didn't implement save files even though the previous Sonic game before had them. This is my punishment for calling the British assholes. However, this was only the beginning. See, now I've had a taste of what it's like to break the rules. I've evolved past the need to care about corporate feelings. So how believable would it be if I said I did it again? Starting off small with other Wii games like Mario Kart and Brawl, then branching out into other stuff like my Wii U before it stopped working not too long after for very separate reasons.
Well, hey, it's Brandon. Let's talk about that.
Mario Kart 8, the, you guessed it, 11th installment in the Mario Kart series. I'm positive you don't need an explanation of what this is, but to brief through it real quick, it's a video game. But not only that, it was a game originally released for the Wii U back in 2014, and based on that knowledge, you could probably guess how that turned out.
Bad. You know, talking about this game really has made me see sports from a new perspective. And because I had a slight change of opinion, I'm gonna jump the gun straight into sports so I can find out what that actually is. Step 1. Well, I guess I'll never know.
And that's literally it for the zones. For the most part, all the levels and gimmicks are painfully mediocre and extremely unoriginal. Mix that with horrendous momentum and controls, and you get no greater response than... Regardless, once all zones are completed, a new one will appear. However, most egregiously, the metal power-up doesn't last as long as it does in the original.
Awful.
Anyways, continuing on my quest, I managed to make my way to the top of this waterfall, and after copious amounts of death, I found the white sword, which increases my attack power by a specific amount, of which I definitely know. It's pretty helpful to have though. I even equipped myself with arrows for the bow, a candle for burning bushes / lighting rooms, and a raft for doing this. Hey, my third dungeon. I'm probably ready for this. He was not ready for this.
What?
Again, I will definitely commend the backdrop for really making the area look that much more expressive and alive. The music is nice, all that fun stuff. Though I do have a small complaint regarding the audio mixing in some areas. Nothing major, of course, you know. Just sometimes you'll be walking and then...
Yeah, you motherfucker! Oh god, why is it so loud? What the heck is going on in here?
The audio leveling is really bad. You need to run.
What does that even mean?
I'm
finally being punished for my terrible personality.
Why do you always end up playing weird shit like this?
Save yourself!
And, you know, it's not like I don't dabble in the dark arts of online game shopping myself. Sometimes there's titles that don't even have a physical counterpart, mainly indie games and re-releases of older titles, in which, yes, I will sacrifice a bit more storage than usual for said product. That being the case, in the end, I'll personally always stick to the side of buyable plastic. I just hold myself to a higher standard, I guess. Even if that does mean I have to skip out on cyber deals and earlier access, and saving time and convenience. But at least I can do this. The thing itself was released back in 1989 for Japan and the US, with other countries like the UK getting it a year later in 1990. And with all that consumer power combined, Mr. Game Boy over here managed to sell over 100 million units. When including all the variants in Game Boy Color. Basically, it was popular. Did I get that point across? A timeless product conjured up by the Big N at that. And as this was a Nintendo-made orphanage for video games, guess who was first in line to be put up for adoption? Mario, Super Mario, famous video game icon. The guy who's been around the block a bit, from platformers to invading other genres like partying, racing, to now my local McDonald's. I got the Toad toy. Why can I not make a single turn to save my life? See, normally how physics work is if you turn a specific direction, you'll go that same direction. However, for some reason, this game in particular wants to be a special snowflake by secretly replacing the ground floor with ice, making it so now every time you steer either left or right, you'll slide the opposite way, ending up off-road or worse, face first into an obstacle. Like, look at this shit. I'm doing my genuine hardest to keep a solid first place, but watch out, Brandon, in a Q angle. Oh God! So I figured, why not document this momentous occasion with words and funny jokes, like this one. Never said they'd be original. That is until the glorious years of the early 1990s, when out of nowhere, video arcade machines blasted back up in popularity, gaining a massive resurgence, all thanks to the introduction of a revolutionary title known as Street Fighter II. In 1991. And boy, I mean, tell ya, whew, this thing was an immediate smash hit. The fighting game that rejuvenated the excitement people had for arcade games once more, and becoming loved by everyone in the world who isn't me. Good for them. Oh, and then the Wii happened, and that was a whole adventure in itself. Completing New Super Mario Bros. Wii with my siblings, consistently being bad at Mario Kart, and don't you even get me started on Just Dance. Oh my god, and how could I forget Mario Galaxy 2? Well, I didn't. I was just saving it till the end because it's just the best. Oh, and while we're on the topic, and I have the stage, Galaxy 2 is better than Galaxy 1. With their vast knowledge and experience with the Warner Brothers IP, and, you know, just making games in general, surely they know what the hell they're doing here. So I guess now's a better time than any to do my favorite pastime, insertion, and my second favorite pastime, playing video games. And with that disturbing information out of the way, and also after watching the plot synopsis for every 90s platformer ever, kidnapping, our journey to once again be the rescuer begins. Amiibo indeed, my friend. Alright, first level's booting up. Let's see what we're greeted with.
Oh, he's still looking at me.
Regardless, once all zones are completed, a new one will appear housing the final boss, which is literally just the bosses we've done prior back to back with one last challenge to defeat the Death Egg robot, the same one from Sonic 2. I hate this. Hey there, I'm Brandon, and today is finally the day. If you couldn't guess, it's my birthday, which means I'm one step closer to being able to legally play Udraw Studios and buy moonshine. Yep, I'm getting pretty psyched to gain respect from people younger than me to make me feel a lot better about myself. Hell, I even wrote down some birthday wishes just for the occasion. Hopefully one day I can find happiness, a girlfriend, and a new 2D Mario for the DS. 1 out of 3. Being actually good at this game can take some time, as you're bound to constantly make irreversible mistakes. This game is unforgivable as hell. One minute you're designing your child, and the next your park rating drops severely because you forgot to finish your child, and your child has now killed 20 people. I guess I'll go average difficulty here. Shouldn't be too hard. Hey there, I'm Brandon, and is it just me or does it feel a little different here? That was a genuine question. Apparently I am indeed losing my mind according to this diagnosis. And what's worse is that now I'm starting to hallucinate, talk shit about beloved video games, and discuss things that aren't even relatable anymore. On the bright side though, they said whatever it is that I have is something completely new to them, which means I get to start thinking of names for it. I already have a few contenders here. But I guess now I should probably start saying some relevant stuff if I want to have any hope of curing myself. Super Mario Land. VR adaptation of the classic Namco arcade game. See the world through Pac-Man's eyes. Pac-Man fever is spreading again with this new, fully immersive 3D virtual reality game, in which the player actually becomes Pac-Man himself.
Wow, they were right! I feel just like him! Ew, why the fuck is this here?
But I'm much older now. I can swear, go to jail, pick female characters in video games, which means I need to start changing up my hobbies and lifestyle to something a bit more mature if I want to gain any respect from the type of people who have looked in the direction of this and chose not to buy it. I mean, for God's sakes, you walk in my room and the signs are more apparent than they probably should be. So to help everyone in the same predicament as myself, here's Brandon's 5 steps to rid you of the mentally harmful addiction that is Nintendo. Step 1, realize your mistake. Good. Step 2, you hate red now, so buy a non-Nintendo console like the Xbox. PlayStation will also work, but we're trying to actually change, not just compensate. Step 3, load up any game you wouldn't play in front of your pasture. If you don't have anything like that, just find something really fucking boring, like Madden or Injustice. Step 4, slap that bitch in the console and open it up. But don't actually play it. Knowing too much about a game is an easy way to become annoying. People need to think you have other hobbies. Step 5, unplug the console and never look in its direction again. You will be liked this way. Boom. Look at that. You're now a bit closer to becoming less unbearable. But there's one last improvement that needs to be made before you're worthy of anything good in life. So I would like to bring your attention over here. And now tell me what you think the problem is. That. Or let's look at Super Smash Bros. Brawl. That was pretty controversial on the gameplay side of things. What about a mod that makes the playstyle more competitive and less 1% trippy? Oh, that already exists and it's called Project M. Wow, isn't that neat? You don't need to understand how, you just need to know they did. Now, is a lot of this just cheating or playing the game the way companies didn't intend? Yeah, absolutely. Are we most likely pissing them off by doing so? Well, that's just part of the fun. I mean, what are they gonna do about it? I live to spite these corporations, especially Nintendo, which is why I buy everything they sell. Look, I've played this thing, along with all your other nostalgia traps, to death on every console imaginable. I grew up with the Namco Museum DS and the PS2's 50th anniversary version. Hell, I bit the bullet and bought your most recent re-release on Switch. But there needs to be a point in a passionate game enthusiast's life when they finally open up a dictionary and learn what a limit means so they can find out what this company has been pushing.
Pac-Man Museum Plus.
That point will hit soon, I promise. Oh good, another game full of older games. At what point will they start putting compilations in a compilation? That's what I'm excited for. Pac-Man Museum Plus, set to release May 27th of this year. Good. But until then, here is where we stand in the present. Still only 8 courses into this thing, as everyone waits in anticipation for Brandon's opinion on them. Paris Promenades, starting off with a course from Tour. Fuck you. However, if you do save all of your family, bada bing bada boom, the redemption arc. Amazing. And credits. So, after all that's finally over, we do get some after-game Would you stop? Okay. Alright. If I thought I wasn't prepared before, Jesus Christ. Back to grinding, I guess. And by that I mean messing with every single tile or sprite I could get my hands on. And, well, I did find something. Better armor has been acquired. We are moving up in the world. In fact, this time period of 33 years ago, holy shit, was when Super Mario finally managed to get his first portable adventure. Exerting inequality, that is, in the form of Super Mario Land, a simple 2D side-scrolling platformer released in 1989. A game so substantial, I even talked about it once.
This is ass.
However, as with everything else here, definitely hasn't reached its full potential of good yet. It feels more inconsistent, if anything, where there can be moments in which the drift has been pulled off successfully, but then there's the other 90% which is... Like, I get the whole right to go left thing, but God, this is too far, man. Am I doing it wrong? I mean, how incorrectly can one press R and left? In light of not being entirely negative, I really don't want to say this mechanic was overall implemented terribly just because I'm bad at game. But I swear to God, I have tried using this move over and over and over until I was officially over trying to figure out how this thing was actually meant to be used! So conclusion, it was implemented terribly.
You've got mail.
There is a god!
For now, let's answer, what even is a Pac-Man VR? Well, the title is as self-explanatory as they come. It's Pac-Man, but you play it in VR.
Fuck, really? Wait, I thought it was just in here.
Speaking of Mario, does anyone remember this thing? Super Mario 64 HD. Based on what we've talked about so far, just guess why this one got taken down. I remember playing this thing all the time on my crappy laptop back in 2015. It was essentially just Bomb Battlefield recreated in the Unity game engine, and you ran around it stomping enemies. That was it. I don't even think there were any stars to grab. Despite that though, it was still enough for Nintendo to be like, oh god, who's gonna buy the Virtual Console re-release with this around? And like the others, it died.
Also, we know how much you all fucking hate Nintendo 64 games, so we didn't fucking add any this time around. You're welcome. But we do have such classics as Super Mario World, The Legend of Zelda, Kirby Superstar, Punch-Out, and many more. So place that poorly painted figure on the pad and watch as you get some shit like Clue Clue Land instead. Whoops. Better buy more characters if you want the good stuff, asshole. And we know in this year of 2015 there have been complaints about a mass shortage of amiibos in stores. But rest assured, we are in no hurry to make more, because we already know if we keep releasing them in small waves, then they're all guaranteed to sell out in minutes by scalpers, so good luck finding any. Bitch!
What are you doing?
Don't scare me like that, man.
Sorry. So what are you doing?
The hell does it look like I'm doing?
Letting the wall give you a fellatio? Wrong and gross. No, we have a mouse infestation and I'm trying to purge it. Right. And your strategy is to disappoint them to death. Disparaging remark taken into consideration.
How many mice we talking here anyway? Like around 10, 20?
Huh?
Oh, no. Just one.
What?
Yeah, no, there's just been this one that's constantly running around and stealing the iconic wheel of cheese that I keep in my bedroom. You know, I've always wondered how that thing stayed fresh at room temperature.
It doesn't.
Ah. Wait, so that wee creature took the whole thing?
Yeah, honestly, it was pretty impressive to watch, which is kind of why I haven't stopped him during the act yet.
Okay, hold on. Back up a second. If there is just a single mouse, why did you call it an infestation a second ago? You do know that word specifically refers to more than one pest, right?
I just proclaimed the existence of a mouse that has the ability to defy nature by lifting 20 times its own weight, and all you're concerned about is my grammar?
Aye.
No! In regards to your claim, the word infestation can refer to any number of pests, including just one.
What? Are you stupid? Brandon, if you're stupid, you have to tell me.
That's just what that means. That's what that's always meant.
What kind of crack-ass world do you live in where one creature can make up a whole infestation?
It is a mouse that is infesting my space, therefore making it an infestation. Are you just making a big deal out of this to gloat about your possession and my lack of a college degree again?
Basic English and grammar are so beneath the requirements for a college degree, and if you can't grasp that, you shouldn't be allowed to step foot in a college, let alone get a degree.
Aha! Well, joke's on you, I have stepped foot in a college once. To, use the bathroom. Smelled like crack in there. And then I found crack in there.
Riveting. And you know what? If you're gonna be this committed to stupidity, I'll let the internet prove you wrong then.
Right, because the internet's track record in honesty has been flawless. You'd be more likely to hear a truthful answer from a married couple, which is saying a lot, you know what I mean? Up top!
Okay, here. The presence of an unusually large number of insects or animals in a place. Wow, I was right. What an unforeseen outcome. You know me being right.
Great, well I hope this petty triumph helps you sleep at night. Now if you're not going to be any actual help in regards to my mouse issue, then feel free to leave at any time.
Look, I'm sorry. Have you tried, coaxing it out with a piece of cheese or something?
That wouldn't work. You would know the cheese is bait.
What are you talking? It's a mouse! It's not gonna know the difference between bait cheese and normal cheese.
Yeah, well, watch one shove a 12-pound wheel of the stuff through a 2-inch gap without tearing it, and then try telling me that to my face.
Aye, fair enough, I guess. So what is your plan to coax it out then?
Well...
And I swear, Brandon, if you say you got some nonsensical scheme that involves you talking about a mouse-related video game in hopes to gain its trust or something equally as stupid, I will lose the last drop of respect I had for you. Do you ever get tired of being extremely predictable?
Can I just talk about my stupid game now?
First of all, I died like 15 times on this segment with the moving pillars, and second off, I died 15 more times at the death egg robot because there was a significant lack of instructions on what to do, especially at the last part where I was supposed to run right before the floor collapsed, but because there was no indication I had to do so, I almost went into cardiac arrest.
Oh, my heartbeat stopped.
There's also the added ability to design roller coasters. I've made my own little thriller here, specifically designed to make you feel like shit. I call it the toilet.
Hey there, I'm Brandon, and I'm making responsible choices with my life. See, I'm gonna start doing these things called sports. Apparently it's a mix between fun and physical activity, so you know I had to find out for myself if it's actually real. But I gotta say, for a summer day, it's pretty cold. Oh, that's why. Well, I guess I missed my chance for that idea. Actually, I think I may know another way I can experience the joy of sports while still being in the house. On second thought, I think I'm just gonna play some video games.
But the main way of actually playing required you to be at home with a huge box, you gotta set up to a TV, deal with AVI cords, God help those cursed with monochromacy. And once you actually manage to get everything set up, there's still a chance for it to do the exact opposite of what it was meant to do, which was work. But with the introduction and power of handheld gaming, now you can have everything not function in the palm of your own greasy hands.
Now I get to be disappointed on the go.
And here's the best part.
It's got f***ing games.
Yep, no video game console would be complete without these plastic multi-shaped products that are the only source of validation I receive anymore.
But I did end up learning a valuable life lesson during the 1 second I was gone from this room. Apparently the video games I enjoy in my free time don't actually have an effect on who I am as a person, and if someone ever makes fun of my unhealthy obsession for Nintendo games, it's not because objectively they're for a younger audience. It's probably just because I'm really f***ing annoying in general.
Ah, okay, this one is really good. Super Mario 64 multiplayer. So, you have the base game, right? Very fun, incredible experience, it's Mario. But one thing I've always hated was the fact that I couldn't play through it with a friend, and let me tell you, that didn't really help my motivation to get one. Well, thanks to Kaze Pronounce It Yourself, I can now do that thing I just said I couldn't. Wow, I love foreshadowing. Not only does it look worse than its original counterpart, but for some reason, the whole track was decreased in size too. Everything just feels smaller. I'll always end up clearing this thing way faster than I feel like I should. Oh, and also I guess Mii's are a little too unique and fun for a game like Mario Kart, so we don't need those anymore. What actually challenging obstacles do you even know who you're talking to? And last thing here, this blue carpet is tacky. Bring back the holes. Overall, I give this a 1 out of... Now, let me set the scene for you. Imagine you're a casual video game consumer witnessing this new console called the Virtuality at your local amusement venue. Then, as you hook up the sweaty-ass, gross-ass, heavy-ass headset onto yourself and start up the game, you realize something.
Oh, shit. I don't know how to play this.
But I'm gonna go ahead and save the Sonic 4 sequel for another day in light of my fleeting morality. So my final thoughts on this game, if you can avoid playing it, then please do so.
Hey, you need to finish the game.
What the fuck?
I know this looks confusing, but you need to continue playing. Where's your TV? Oh, it's over there. This is just for visual effect. Hey, can we talk about who you are and why you look like me?
You do have the game on here, right?
Okay, I guess not. Hey, hello, focus, you're not listening to me. No, you're not listening to me, and if beating this game's so important, why don't you do it yourself? Huh. I'm still not doing it. Shut the fuck up! You don't have a say in this. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. After everything I just experienced, this is more like a tempting invitation. Oh, my foot! Still tempting? You know what I meant. I really don't. Fuck you. Play episode 2. No. Ah, fine.
Sonic the Hedgehog 4, Episode 2. Fuck. Also, I never mentioned it before, but these white cotton ball orb looking things are in almost every single dungeon, and while they don't actually harm you, upon contact, they will disable your sword for a short amount of time. Now, let's connect some dots here. This is what we call cause and effect. Cause I'm unable to use my sword, the effect is I can't kill the enemies. Cause I can't kill the enemies, the effect is they kill me instead. Cause they kill me instead. However, once again, my perseverance claimed victory, and after some crying, of course. And that's a crab. And there he stood, back at the entrance of the dungeon once again. A pitiful victim to the birthright of mediocrity, as his morality became conflicted on whether to keep trying or just Google it. I googled it. So, okay, yes, it's another 2D Super Mario platformer that we've all seen time and time again, though that's not a statement on the overall quality of this title in any way. Just more of an observation. To be real with you all, the controls feel great, like a Mario Gama should. All the staples are here. And the final race of this cup leads us all the way back to Racetrack the Theme again. I mean Mario Circuit 2. A bit anticlimactic to end it in the same place we started, but that's not really what matters right now when holy shoot! Look at that track layout. Oh, that's nice. For our first Mario-related announcement, we got Super Mario RPG. The remake. Yes, a full HD, entirely from the ground up, remake of the popular Super Nintendo title. Something no one ever expected to happen, considering it's, for one, barely ever acknowledged by Nintendo, and two, was originally developed by a separate company, Square Enix, the Final Fantasy people. The original game also had a massive following of fans that still persist to this day. So yeah, needless to say, its announcement would go on to warrant major positive reception. So the year is 1985. A group of people in a garage were just kind of like,
You know what'd be cool?
and this collection of people would eventually make up a group called W Industries. And of course, we can't forget Z-SNES, or Z-SNES, which was my fabled introduction to the world of SNES titles. This emulator, also released in 1997, however, doesn't contain a phallus-based name.
Then what the fuck is the point?
And
unlike Nesticle, still holds up pretty well even to this day. Like, there really aren't many noticeable issues with the emulation. It still feels great and runs smoothly. Also, I just wanted to point out, after going through this old folder of SNES ROMs from like 2002, for some reason, Sonic is a game listed here. It's weird, right? How did they know this was my favorite game on that console? Okay, so far this is actually not bad. Like, platformers obviously aren't the most interesting thing to discuss in terms of quality. Oh, I like how this game lets me jump over a hole better than this game. But I want to believe everyone knows what bad controls feel like. And this is not an example of that. Everything feels responsive, jumps aren't too floaty or weighed down, and the momentum feels earned and natural.
Holy shit, there he is! It's Sonic! Yeah!
So anyways, after all that talking, we've finally managed to finish our own park. Plenty of rides here, we've pretty much used up all the space, and I would say I'm happy with the final result, but this is just mediocre. Alright, I'm bored of this already. Yeah, good game. And there we go, that was 10 sports games for the NES. If I neglected to talk about anyone's favorite, I don't care. But the ones I did talk about inspired me. I still have a little bit of energy left, so I think I'm gonna go try out some other sport-related activities. I feel like there's a crucial piece I'm missing here, and I'm not sure what that is. And now, join us as Brandon sums up what was the last 12 minutes of discussion into a single word. Man, more than anything, I just really wanted to play through this zone without going, this thing was obviously taken from this thing, every time I encounter literally anything. Look, even the start of the boss fight is a Psych Out of Aquatic Ruins boss, proof I'm not looking too deep into this. Luckily, however, that's where all the similarities seem to end, for this zone at least, as we proceed to take on the first Eggman battle. And, well, as far as these fights go, it's pretty alright.
No fucking way!
Second level requires us to explore an abandoned submarine. Height, interesting concept, you know, love how the layout is almost maze-like with cannons and dry bone fish to really tie together that feeling of long-forgotten machinery. Really interesting, really interesting. I like what you've done with this, I really do, but waiter, it seems you have mistakenly added shit gameplay to my order of quality theming.
No, sir, that's part of the meal. I believe that's what they call a water level.
Next up, we have Vanilla Lake, and oh my god, it's new. Genuinely wasn't expecting that. Another new theme in the Star Cup, this time being an iced over lake. Really liking this actually, what? And you fucking ruined it. Oh my good God, why? You had such a beautiful thing going on here with the ice and the small gaps of water, and it looked really pretty, and you just go ahead and add these stupid ass tiny blocks of ice that you can barely see that just immediately stop you in your tracks after running into it? And what's worse is you spread them across the entire fucking track! You dick! What in concept seems like a small little obstacle turns out to actually be the thing that genuinely ruins the entire appeal of this course for me. You know what? Sure, because of course it would. Maybe I'm too upset over a small feature in a 30-year-old video game. Or maybe I'm just lashing out at insignificant things due to my continuous isolation, lack of willingness to open my heart. See, it could be anything. 4 out of 10. Bowser's Castle 3. Can suck my nuts. And then, as our final announcement from this same Nintendo Direct, we were greeted with this.
Onward and upward.
It's beautiful.
Alright, so I guess we should go ahead and get this interview underway, shall we?
Go for it.
The voice you're hearing is someone by the name of Don McIntyre, a very talented graphic designer who once worked with the company Virtuality back in the early 90s. But not only was he a former employee by the same company responsible for Pac-Man VR, he was also one of the two main people who worked on and created the game. When the Wii U launched, I felt like the only person in the world who owned that damn thing. And I might as well have been. Like, in 2013, you could not find a single motherfucker who owned one of these things. Everyone either had an Xbox One or PlayStation 4, you know, in case they need something to beat you with after finding out you owned a Wii U. I own two. So in terms of friends, the subject was lacking. Another unique aspect to this title is that there is no rolling. Speedy here has not learned the ways of breaking your fucking spine, and instead opts for the much simpler approach of using his tiny pathetic mouse legs to dropkick everything in sight. And due to this move, using a separate command button, it immediately breaks classic Sonic's one button for every action formula that was originally integrated to vastly improve the optimization of playstyles akin to it. You know, such as this thing. But I'm not one to start criticizing design choices like this so soon. How actually useful this move is compared to something like the spin attack is yet to be determined. So sit your butt down, because I'm about to drop the most average opinion for what might be the most average function to ever come out of this incredibly average game by telling you, in the most average way.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty average.
It'll still be fun to play these new courses with friends, again still working on that, especially since the older ones have run more than just their course by this point. Though that being the case, I'd still be lying if I said some of the changes didn't annoy me. On the plus side, I found out that staring at those single saturated colors is honestly a great way to punish my eyes and myself for buying this DLC. You know, the funny thing is, when I first saw footage of this game, I genuinely thought it looked fine. I believe the hate was undeserved, but look at me now, I get to be a part of the majority. And after heading into this pipe, we finally confront boss number 4, Baby Squirting Octopus. Nope. Boss number 4, Baby Spitting Octopus. Nope. Boss number 4, oh, he's dead. Pumpkin Zone, the world of spooky scenery, questionable enemy design, and not a single goddamn pumpkin in any of the actual levels. False advertising aside, we got ourselves a set of 4 different stages, all themed around the vague idea of what's Halloween appropriate. Okay, so the first level here takes place in what I can only assume is a haunted mansion. Great. Level 2 appears to be located in a graveyard. Level 3 is Scary House Theme, the sequel. And lastly, we have... Oh, and boss battle is obviously against a witch. What else? Also, the music here. I gotta say, unfortunately, these have got to be the worst courses I have ever had the displeasure of racing on. I won't go into detail about each one individually like I did with the others, because frankly, my feelings for each one are all pretty much the same. So instead, here's my opinion of them in the form of an eloquently written title card. Retaining all the original gameplay, the VR version of this classic game now allows the networking of up to 4 players, enabling them to see, talk, and compete with each other in the same virtual maze while still trying to outwit the ghosts. Whoa! Multiplayer in my discontinued 1996 VR Pac-Man game?
Ugh, other people.
Mario Royale was taken down because Nintendo were about to bestow upon the world the glory that is Super Mario 35, or more rather was, since it's no longer being supported. And with both of these games now gone, I am thoroughly out of ways to fill that Mario Battle Royale shaped hole in my heart. Thanks, asshole. However, I wouldn't go as far as to say that's the worst thing Nintendo does. Plus, they are way more strict when it comes to things like emulation and modding anyways. They fucking hate that stuff. But that's really all they can do. Unless you're just straight up hacking online matches or selling pirated copies of their games, in which case, yeah, legal action is a given. But aside from that, at most all they're capable of is being really disappointed in you. And when has that held any value?
So spend over $100 on figures of characters that remind you of how much better your childhood was compared to your current sad, pathetic piece of shit consumer life. Tap them on your $300 console. Try out some 30-year-old games in brief segments like where your parents setting a curfew. Then, if you find them fun, surely you'll be enticed to spend even more money on the full thing via Virtual Console today. It's our next greatest idea since the year of Luigi. But wait, if you call now, we'll double the amount of nothing included with this game. That's right, a whole 2 times 0. That's math, bitch. So what are you waiting for? Act soon. Act now. Act before you even watch this. Travel back in time if you have to. Advance human technology by 1,000 years so you can buy our shit.
Games spelled separately, amiibo not included. Ask your parents' permission before buying anything. They're too tech illiterate to know which game is anyways.
Nintendo. We know what we can get away with.
It's a cool summer night in 2008. You're not any older than 5 years.
The youthful age where the most anyone expected from you was just being able to shit inside the toilet.
I missed.
Space Zone!
Oh, I wonder what the theme here's supposed to be.
Shut up.
Okay, so interesting little quirk about this world in particular. In order to even access it, you have to enter this completely separate level slapped at the top left of the map. Then, once inside, jump in this snot bubble and ride it all the way to this higher up section at the end of the stage. Only then do we find ourselves in the Space Zone. Why this one in particular needs a special means of access,
That's why.
to make matters worse, if you game over, you gotta truck through all those previous courses, which, like I mentioned before, are their own little challenges as well. This happened like 4 or 5 times with, I forgot how many attempts on Rainbow Road itself. There was only one single race where I managed to keep a consistent first place position through almost the entire thing, up until the last lap when I panicked, choked, and... And with that, my work here is done. Huh, color me impressed. You actually did a pretty good job on that. Thanks? Hey, that reminds me, why did you ask me to research this topic anyways? I mean, if you were gonna stay here the whole time, you probably could have just done it yourself, right? And now that I think about it, you never really gave a reason for the last time you were here either. After all you've put me through, I feel like I'm owed an explanation. Oh, and he's gone. Okay.
Looks like there's another mystery at hand.
Never mind. I'm over it.
Yeah, sure, I'm most likely gonna use Nintendo's own service solely for the convenience. It's decently priced and very accessible, even if needing an internet connection at all times is stupid, stinky garbage. However, convenience is really all it's got going for it, cause, and call me crazy, but when you really look at it, the NES, SNES, and especially Game Boy selections are all still heavily lacking in content. Like, the convenience is nice and all, but what am I supposed to do when I have a hankering for all those third-party owned games? Go f*** myself? I tried, it didn't bring Kung Fu back. The momentum mechanic gets shafted hard due to the overabundance of slow precision platforming to the point where I'm just wondering why they bothered to include it in the first place, other than that Speedy is supposed to be a fast character. You know, how do we challenge our players that just want to go fast? You test their patience, of course. Genius! Give them a taste of that exhilarating speed, only to immediately rip it away. Anyways, buy our game. You ever take a good 10 to 20 minutes to cook yourself up some lunch or dinner, and then as you set the delicious looking meal on a plate and head over to your eating quarters, you slip up and drop everything on the cold, dirty, germ-infested floor? And as you look down, staring at the cruel and biased laws of fate, that sinking feeling of lost hope begins to overflow your entire spirit, leaving nothing behind other than what now looks like a turd stain on the ground and a single tear. Yeah, that about accurately describes this level. And everything I'm saying now kind of branches out into a bigger realization I had about this game in general. And that is the fact that the entirety of two-player mode is undoubtedly its peak. Duh, Brandon. This game was designed with multiplayer at the forefront, and also the main reason this title was even conceptualized, so of course that specific mode is the highlight of the entire experience. Well, first of all, I was gonna say that, so fuck you, and second off, actually that's it. But yes, after all my ragging and nagging and sagging, I have come to finally understand the error of my ways. I've officially seen the light of heaven's sweet warm embrace as an angel descends down to deliver a message from God saying, hey man, this game's actually not so bad if you give it a chance.
Seems it's going to be another one of those days. The clients start hustling in as the streets continue to remain filled with life, footsteps, and the stains of unjustified blood. Of course, it becomes easier when you're numb to the pain like I am. Nowadays, it seems every alleyway in this god-forsaken city has a new case for me to solve. But that doesn't bother me none, because it's what brings the money in when you're a world-renowned detective.
Hey, what's up? I mean, What do you want? Yeah, a better question. What are you doing? Would you believe thespianism?
I would believe that is a women's coat you are wearing.
Would you believe thespianism in a woman's coat?
Why are you pretending to be a detective?
Because pretending is just another word for acting, and when you act as something, I like to believe you basically are.
Oh, you mean like how you pretend to be scared of women, when in reality it's women who are scared of you? Why are you here?
I have another request I need you to complete.
Ah, so it's cool when he does it, okay.
There exists this unreleased video game, Pac-Man VR it's called. I need you to find as much information on it as you can.
Yeah, absolutely not. Need I set a reminder that 1, I barely know you, and 2, the last time we did interact, you shot me in the foot!
Oh, my foot! What was that?
Duh. That was my flashback.
And I don't very much like you, nor do I even know your name, or where you're from, or even why you look like me. So what makes you think I would do anything you say?
Because if you don't, then I'll shoot you in the foot again?
You drive a hard bargain, I'll give you that. But I'm gonna have to...
Oh, my foot! What the heck? I was gonna say yes!
Oh. Well, why didn't you?
I was doing a bit, trying to make the build-up to my answer more dramatic.
Ah. Sorry. Here is some leads I got. Yeah? Okay, have fun.
Pac-Man!
Are you guys tired of this fucker yet?
Oh, and there's also the reason for 90% of my trips to the post office. Joy-Con drift. Man, I love spending $70 on a Pro controller only for the stick to be completely unresponsive after 2 months. That's cool. What's worse is while they do have a free repair service, it's for Joy-Cons only, which works great when it happens to mine every few months. But what the hell am I supposed to do with this now?
Was that really necessary?
Look, you got what you wanted. Don't judge how it's provided. I'll admit it was pretty vicious. Everyone else's complaints weren't nearly as, passionate. Wait, what the hell? You said they didn't complain about Nintendo. Oh, yeah. You want to know the funny thing about that? What? I lied!
Oh my god, this game never ends. Please, I have like 1 life left, and if I die, I have to do the whole thing all over again.
Hey, I did it.
And it's just that easy.
And shockingly enough, even with all that said and done, good lord, I still have some thoughts.
Yeah, this one isn't really relevant though.
Well, I just learned a valuable life lesson today. Never take any chances. It'll only lead to pain and sorrow. Also,
Music, I should also mention, is really fucking catchy, being composed by Soyo Oka, who was also in charge of arranging the tracks for Super Mario All-Stars. And I can't get the Koopa Beach theme out of my head, but at least it's louder than the voices, so hey. So, alright, I've been beating around the dead horse long enough. Wait, hang on, let me redo that. So I've been hiding from the truth for far too long. But now I think it's finally time to bite the bullet, unmask this game, and find out what the virtuality group was trying to hide from us for so long. And after an excruciating, treacherous search on Google, I finally uncovered some proof. More specifically, a video showing us what this game actually played and looked like. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world of Pac-Man VR. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the exit. Run.
yes! Yes! Now that's a story! Oh, thank God, the material was thinning. This is all perfect! Now I need to get prepared for... Wait. What time is it? Well, I need to go to the store and then start preparation! Crap, I forgot to give my wallet back.
Welcome back to Channel L News, where our intro animation is paid for and copyright free. Now it's time we move on to a very special segment all about the immensely popular video game company known as Nintendo, and why their products are so engaging with the youth of today. If that piques your interest, then don't change that channel, because our man on the field, Tomboski Quantavius, is here to give us an exclusive look. Take it away, Tom.
Thank you, Mr. Boss Man. This is Tomboski Quantavius reporting live outside the Nintendo headquarters with exclusive information on the company's secret tactics for enthralling the younger generation. And it's all documented right here.
That's not your research, is it?
Nope.
Should I say it, or do you just want
Yeah, I'll leave.
2 pieces of footage that show off this very game of Pac-Man VR actually running on real hardware, no less. These were both posted by a user going by the name Ariane Fugman.
Ah, so a human being's behind this. Looks like I'll have to do a bit of interrogating.
Who are you and what the fuck did you do?
How was that? Was that good?
I should just email them, huh?
You should, yeah, that would definitely be better.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I just wanted to...
Yeah, email us, yeah.
But the level layout is still pretty solid, and does a decent job at helping the player familiarize themselves with the core mechanics of gameplay. Running, jumping, not running, filing a divorce. The game gives you plenty of opportunities to master at least 3 out of 4 of those things.
Now the only question left is to figure out what events led you to this moment in the first place. Now if you'll excuse me, my vital organs are about to erupt due to sheer rage unless I turn this console off and get this game out of my face. And with that, we have reached the climax once more. Climax.
So now that you're all caught up on this riveting tale, let's not waste any more time and find out how this conflict ends. Oh, he died.
Might as well give it a whirl. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting. I mean, there he is, exactly as advertised. Yeah, plus a tumor. And I'm in hell. Who? What? Who? What? Who? Okay. Wow. There is a lot to unpack here. Which is why I'm not gonna do any of that. Cause it's Sonic the Hedgehog, baby! What is there not to get? You run fast, you free living beings, and of course, you kick enemies. Oh my god, this is just Speedy Gonzales Los Gatos Benditos. So, there may have been a few crucial details I neglected to mention about the virtuality company, the virtuality itself, and its lifespan, or more specifically, its downfall. I guess it should go without saying, but virtual reality tech in the 1990s was just not good.
Fuck, really? How's this keep happening?
Well, that didn't work. Gee, what gave it away, Einstein? The fact it's an animal, physically incapable of understanding human speech? Or maybe how you got so caught up in your little rant that you missed it leaving the hole to steal another 12 pounds of rotund cheddar?
What?
Aww.
Yeah, what do you know about what can and can't understand things anyways, Mr. Sentient Drawing on a Piece of Cardboard? Your existence is an affront to God, nature, and competent artists.
Hurtful.
I just don't understand what went wrong. I mean, the topic should have been relatable enough to the mouse, causing him to feel more comfortable around me and letting me earn his trust. Maybe there was something about the game specifically that didn't click with him.
I think it's your brain that's not clicking. I'm actually concerned you said that whole sentence unironically.
I wonder if it was the Mexican team that was unrelatable to him.
The only thing more concerning than that is the mystery of how you somehow passed any form of public education.
Oh my god, is the mouse racist?
Like, for God's sakes, your bank account's probably more barren than your brain, so I know for a fact you couldn't have bribed him either.
Maybe he just doesn't like retro games. Typical casual consumer.
You know, your lack of any sort of intelligence contrasts greatly with the fact you're somehow still alive. Everything about your current standing in the world is such an anomaly that at this point, I'm just impressed you still remember how to breathe.
Well, I'm standing here because you were nice enough to pay for the house, remember?
Correction, we split the mortgage, but every month you say, "Aye, just tack it on to next month's bill, I'll pay you later."
I told you, I'm in a rough spot financially.
You've been saying that for the last 2.5 years now.
Well, it's a very long, rough spot.
Whatever, I'm not doing the same argument for the third time this week. Let's just stay on topic. So, what is your next brilliant plan to get rid of that thing?
Well, I was gonna try talking about a few more games.
You know what? I'm not actually sure why I bothered asking. I forgot that not only are you broke, you're one-dimensional as well.
Oh my, did somebody piss in your coffee this morning? Why are you critiquing every little action I make?
I'm just saying, you ever think there might be more to life than 12-pound cheese whales and talking about video games? You know, like going outside, drinking coffee, hitting on girls, paying your half of the mortgage.
Those are all your things. We each have our own unique interests. Okay.
Yours are self-destructive!
That's preposterous. Playing video games isn't self-destructive.
You don't just play them, they're your entire damn personality.
And drinking coffee isn't yours?
Hey! You'll leave God's sweet being nectar out of this.
You're a hypocrite!
A hypocrite that at least keeps a damn roof over our heads!
My god, fine, I'll get a job! Is that what you wanted to hear?
That wouldn't fix a damn thing. You just blow your entire paycheck on more game products and probably crack, depending on how that college bathroom experience went.
God, there's just no pleasing you, is there? Fine, I'll use 7% of it on the mortgage.
20%.
Deal.
Boy, we are not good at this, are we?
Well, I'm gonna go make some more coffee. And probably take a shit.
I'll go talk to a career counselor, I guess.